Good morning. I'm here in the laboratory today and we're going to plant some seeds, and I just thought I'd show you how to do it. So we're in mid-December right now and we want to get seeds going for springtime so that we have a continual crop of food to eat. So we have our seed packets laid out right here, and then I have a plug tray and I've got it on a big cookie sheet, and we have our sifter to sift the soil, and then we have a 5-gallon bucket of compost. This is compost that I have made, and I'm going to use it as the potting soil. So these are the components of what we're going to do today. So I'm going to put my camera on the tripod, and we're going to get going, and we're going to build a seed tray together. Okay, as we get started here, I would like to thank you for supporting me on Patreon. That means a lot to me. Hopefully these are helping you to have the best garden of your entire life. We are in mid-December and we are creating seeds that will be ready to eat in the springtime. If we wait to plant them in the springtime, we don't eat them till summer. So the seeds we plant in the laboratory today will be transplanted into the greenhouse, and then they will be eaten in the springtime. So we're happy to be here to show you how I do this process. I take my compost that I made and I put some compost on here. A lot of people like to use a tool, get a little compost with the trowel, like this. And then we simply wiggle it around like that. And all the small comes out of here, and all the big pieces stay on top. And then we can take the big pieces on top and we can dump those into another container. This compost has a lot of earthworms in it. I've been looking at this with my microscope. It has healthy protozoa, and it has a large number of beneficial nematodes. Okay, so you can see quite a few of these large pieces in here. These big pieces won't fit into the cells very well. That's why we're sifting it. And so we will just dump the big parts out, and the big parts just go back into the compost so that the microbes can continue eating them and continue breaking them down into more potting soil for us. So this just takes 2 or 3 times. A matter of transferring this over. Now at this point, we can take this that's mounted up here and we'll put it in the cells around where we need to have more soil. So we can push some that way, we can push some this way. The other way to do it is to just use your hand. It's a little bit muddy and I don't want to have to wash my hands right now, because then when I touch the seeds, my fingers will be sticking to all the seeds. Normally I don't worry about it, I just wash my hands, but I'm making this video today, so we're going to do it this way so I don't have to edit the video. Now, when this is in this place, it's not quite ready. I want each cell of soil here to be compacted down. So I'm just going to pick this up and I'm going to drop it 2 or 3 times. Now the soil has gone down quite a bit, and so that's perfect. And it looks really good. It looks like they're all at about the same depth. There's one right here. This one is a little bit deeper than some of the others. So I'm going to grab some soil just from the edge of my cookie sheet here and put a little bit of soil in those that weren't quite as full. There. Now that I've done that, I'm ready to plant. And so we want to plant several things here. That was an empty seed packet. And this one is romaine lettuce. This is a green romaine lettuce. And the way I plant this is I want to put about 1 or 2 seeds in each cell. And that one looks like it got 3 or 4. So you have to be a little bit careful. And how much do I plant? I plant what I'm going to eat this month. So I plant a tray once a month. And so what I want to do is plant, that's 20. And between me and the neighbor family, we will eat about 20 heads of lettuce in a month. So there's 20. So we're done. Now, if we think we're going to eat more than that, you need to plant more. This is a butterhead lettuce, but butterhead doesn't do quite as well in the cold weather, so I'll wait and I'll plant that a little bit later. This is a cabbage, but I don't want to be growing these out there in January. That's our coldest month of the year, so I'm going to wait on those till warmer weather. And that's the same with that one. But here is some kale. I have quite a bit of kale growing, but it's always nice to make sure you have some fresh plants if you need them. So the way I plant kale are round, and if I tip the package, they all just run out because they're like little round balls. They just run out quick. So I'm going to put about 2 seeds in each cell. And so I'm just moving my fingers. I'm just wiggling my fingers like this. And then I get just a few seeds coming out in each one. And I'm going to do about 30 cells. So I've just done 2 rows. And the 2 rows, each row is 10 cells. So I just planted 3 rows, and there's 30. Now what's next? So here's onions. This is onion seed that I grew. These were a bulb onion. It's too early to plant bulb onions, but I'm going to harvest these small as a green onion. So I'm going to put about 5 or 6 seeds in each cell here. They'll come up as a clump. When I transplant these will be transplanted as a complete clump. I won't take these together. And by a clump, I mean I don't take the root ball apart. I leave it together. So however many of these are growing together, that's what will go into the greenhouse where I grow them to the mature size where I want to pick them. And these will be picked when they're about as big around as a fat pen, like a Sharpie. So, you know, bigger than a pencil, but smaller than a bulb onion. Okay, this is another type of onion, but I just planted onions, so I'm not going to plant that one today. So here is spinach. This is a Bloomsdale spinach. These ones have a savoid leaf, which means a curly leaf. And I like about 3 seeds in each one. So I'm just going to go kind of fast. And I'm not counting 3 seeds. I'm just approximating about what I think 3 seeds should be. And I'm feeling it with my fingers. If only 1 seed comes out, then I wiggle my fingers a little more vigorously where I'm holding it, and that will let out more seeds. And if I get 7 or 8 coming out, I calm down so that I get about 3. That one got 4, that one got 3, that one has 4, that one has 2. Put 1 more in. And I ran out of seeds, but that one has 1, 2, 3. And there's 3, there's 3, there's 3, there's 2. I'll put 1 more in. There's 3, there's 4, there's 4, there's 3. So we did pretty good, and there's probably some of these first ones that had 5 or 6. And I'm not worried about that. It's okay if they're a little clump. If you get 20 in there, worry about it, because they will be so compacted that when you transplant them, they don't have room to grow. Plants need space to grow and to move out. It's kind of like when you're doing yoga and you're on your yoga mat. Your yoga mat defines your space. So you don't put 5 people on a yoga mat. It doesn't work well. You can't do the movements. So here's a gourmet lettuce mixture. This has anywhere from 7 to 10 varieties of lettuce. And here again, we want to put 6 or 7 seeds in each one. And I'm just going really fast here. And I'm not doing a very good job because some of these are getting 20 seeds. So I need to be more careful. So I'm done. So there are 30 of the gourmet lettuce. And the gourmet lettuce, I don't grow those into a head. I grow those until they're kind of 2 to 3 inches tall in the wintertime. And then we pick the baby leaves or we cut them off. And we take those in and make a gourmet salad. Here's giant noble spinach. No, it's just a different variety of spinach. This one is a flat-leafed spinach, and it gets very large. So I want 2 to 3 seeds in each one. And it's as simple as placing them just like that. So there are 20 cells of that type of spinach. Now we have champion radish, and these are just a little red radish, just the most common radish in the world. And we are going to put a clump of about 6 seeds in each one of these. Here again, I'm not counting, I'm just dropping seeds. But if you struggle with this and you're dropping 20 or 30, that's way too many. Like that one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Probably too many. I need more like 6 in each one. So there are 20 clumps of radishes. And now we have Ruby Queen beet. And I have a lot of beets growing right now. So I'm not going to plant these. But I do have cilantro. And I have 20 cells left. So I'm going to finish this tray up with cilantro. Cilantro, I like to put 3 or 4 seeds in each one. Now when we plant these out, all of these will be spaced. Everything in here will be spaced 4 to 6 inches apart as we dibble holes in the greenhouse. There's nothing here that needs to be spaced really far apart. So now the seeds are in. We are finished with that part. And now we're going to cover it with soil. And here's how we cover it with the soil. We put more compost in our sifter. Just like that. And then we're going to start over on this side. And I'm going to wiggle it. And I'm going to look and see if I can see any seeds. Right there needs a little bit more. And right here is a high spot. I'm going to go right here. And then I'm going to focus on that edge over there. And now I have mostly big clumps in here. So I'll dump that into my compost space there. And I'm going to get a couple more. Let's just start with one. And I'm going to kind of spot spread on there, right where I want them. And now you can look here and you can see that some of them are a little bit empty and some of them are, some places it's kind of tall. Now remember that our seeds went down underneath, they were not on the top, so they're down under the ridge. So if I pull this across like that, it will cover the ones that are not as full, and it won't disturb any of the seeds because I got the seeds deep enough. Okay, everything looks really good. Now I'll show you how to water it. I have these lids. These lids are for, these lids go on top like this to keep the moisture in, but I've also found that they work really well to put the tray into. So let's just set this here. I'm going to set the tray right into it like that. So the tray goes down in it. These are waterproof, so I can put water in that tray, and then I can cover the top with a lid. And that works good too. A lot of times when you buy these as a kit, you have some kind of a plug tray, different sizes. They can come in a lot of sizes. And then you have a bottom tray that is black, and you have the clear one on top that light goes through. So the light will go through this. But I like the tray on the bottom because then you can see what's happening. You can see if you're running out of water without lifting up your seed tray. You can see your roots growing. There's a lot of benefits to that. So now the simple thing to do is you would take a pitcher of water. Obviously this has no water in it, but I would just lift the corner right here without dumping out your seeds. And I would, so just lift the corner and take your water and fill up this tray. So that's how you do that. Let me show you some that I planted last month so that you can see what this looks like. Here's a tray of beets that I planted last month. And here is the tray right here. And as I move this, you can see the water moving around in there. See that water moving? So if we lift up the corner of the tray, now you can see the roots that are inside there of these beets that are coming out, and you can see the water underneath. And here are radishes, cilantro, another type of radishes, and some spinach in this tray. Let's just lift this one up. And you can see the roots, you can see the water, but I can see the water without lifting up the tray. And I really like that. This one up here on the top, it's fun to see the water up here. The water's a little bit deeper. And this is a tray that's clear full of the lettuce, the gourmet lettuce mix. So that's 200 cells of lettuce. And then when we lift this up, you can see the roots and you can see the water. So I add water to these when they run out, which is about once a week, depending on the weather, the humidity, how fast they're growing. Of course, this tray is spinach, kale, and green onions. So these are the ones we planted last month. These are ready to transplant. And when we transplant these, we will simply lift them out. And let me just, I'm going to move a couple of those out of the way. So we would just lift the root ball out. One more right there. Just like this. And so this is what I call a clump. So this entire root ball with those 5 radish plants will go down into the hole that I dibbled in the greenhouse, and then they can go ahead and grow into edible radishes. Hopefully this helps you to plant your winter crops.